The seven who decree fate were the ruling council of the gods in Sumer. They would take advice from the high gods and the lower gods, but they did all of the actual ruling and made all of the decisions on how fate would play out. Their strength was derived from the tablet of destiny crafted by Enki. Upon this tablet was inscribed the order of the universe, the laws that governed every aspect of civilization, and the law to which the gods themselves submitted. Each of the seven presumably had a copy of this tablet. The ruling council had rulership over all aspects of civilization and progressively more power over the years as civilization evolved. The rulership had some democratic elements, but without the internal strife and without the even balance of votes. They each had a hand in determining destiny, but that hand could be uneven. Each of the gods could put a portion of their vote into any given decision. The ruler of the council would have a vote that could be stronger than the others, but that was not guaranteed. When a decision was made, it was binding. Even those who did not agree before the vote would all stand behind the decision. This is the strength of the order of the universe. It allowed the gods to turn their attention towards the problems that faced the lands that they ruled both from within and from without. Please note the following list of deities is particular to an interpretation of the divine hierarchy that passed through Nippur. Other cities recognized the primacy of other gods at various positions in the hierarchy. Before we analyze each of the seven deities, I want to share an important message with the audience. The archive receives many offers for sponsorship from VPN and identity protection companies, which we generally do not accept. However, when the archive receives an offer from a company that I use personally, I feel it's prudent to share it with my viewers. As you know, data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, your relatives, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. I don't know if you saw this, but AT&T revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released on the dark web. They recommend those affected use strong passwords, monitor account activity, and consider credit freezes or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. Well, Aura does all this for me. And best of all, I don't have to download several different apps just because a company couldn't keep my data secure. If my info was compromised in the AT&T data breach, I wouldn't worry because Aura is always on, always doing the hard work of keeping me safe. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to aura.com/ancient archive to start your 2-week free trial. It is also linked below in the description. An is the primordial god of the cosmos. The Sumerians understood him to be the personification of the heavens and is frequently stated to have been involved in the creation of the universe. He is described as the father of the gods, and the other deities are generally understood to be his descendants. His consort was the goddess Ki, by whom he fathered numerous offspring, most prominently Enlil. In the earliest Sumerian text, An is spoken of as the king of the pantheon. He is the ancient force from whom all the other deities acquire their power. The kings of Sumer similarly saw their right to rule as deriving from An, but this was a right that also brought with it the responsibility to maintain the good order of the universe as written into place by the gods. A king who failed to maintain this order would have his lands cast into chaos by the gods. He is the highest authority in the cosmos, and he distributes functions and authority to the other gods under him. He shares similarities with many other gods associated with the bright daylight and the heavens, such as the Canaanite El. In later Sumerian thought, many of An's powers and functions were ceded to Enlil. This transferring of powers between deities is a common theme in the Sumerian faith, and indeed forms an important part of many narratives. It is then told how An took up residence in the highest heaven maintaining oversight over the universe while not taking direct involvement in its processes. Other gods may, however, intercede with him on behalf of their worshippers. Nevertheless, he remains as the primal cosmos, the progenitor who is the source of all power. The sign used to represent his name also means heavens as well as divinity, and these forces were understood to remain within his purview. Enlil is the son of Enki, the god of the winds and the fates, who assumed command over the functions of kingship and authority when his father An took up a position in the highest heavens. Amongst the gods, Enlil is seen as the ultimate arbiter of authority, and writings tell of how he acts to resolve disputes of power between different gods. Indeed, other gods are sometimes shown to make offerings to Enlil. His realm consists of that which is neither above the skies nor below the earth. He is the right hand of An and is seen to act with the same power and authority. He writes the fates and takes a much more active role in the cosmos than An. While An, through Ki, birthed life, including humans, into the cosmos, it is Enlil who established civilization and gifted it to mankind. Enlil showed humans how to make agricultural tools, how to write in cuneiform, and how to build the apparatus of civilization. In this way, he provided for the people in a way that went beyond their previous nomadic lifestyle. Enlil therefore gathered together all of the divine powers, all of the things that allow civilization to thrive, and gave them to Enki to distribute amongst the cities and the gods of Sumer. As authority and power derive from An, they are conferred by Enlil. The ancient kings of Mesopotamia were proclaimed in the city of Nippur at Enlil's sacred temple, and it was to Enlil that they understood themselves to be directly accountable. Enlil, like An, has the power to elevate other gods to greater powers. The Babylonians said that gods elevated in this way had been granted Enliltu, or Enlilship. Enlil is sometimes seen as a god of storms, chaos, or destruction, but this is a misunderstanding. Enlil is described in Sumerian texts as leveling cities and bringing devastation, but also as being of a kind heart, providing abundance for mankind. Whereas An oversees the cosmos from the highest heavens, Enlil's involvement is direct, and his power, whether used for creation or destruction, is immense. The goddess Ninhursaג was destined to be Enlil's consort, but he had intercourse before his bride-to-be was ready. He was condemned for this rape by the entire pantheon. She did not hold this act against him for all time, as you might expect. She even acted to save him from death and had bore many of the gods in the process. Enki is the wisest of the gods, which is why Enlil entrusted him with the divine powers to distribute amongst the cities and the gods of Sumer. These divine powers include the arts, which the Sumerians saw as one of the defining features of civilization. Enki is therefore a creative force. This holds true in more ways than one, for Enki is seen to have played a key role in the creation of life. Enki's primary domain is that of water, and by extension, he is seen as the one who nourishes all life on Earth. Part of his Akkadian name refers to semen as well as water. The implications, besides the obvious, were also metaphorical, as Enki is the one who fertilizes the land and causes people, animals, and plant life to be abundant. Enlil gave agricultural tools to mankind. It is through Enki's nourishment that the crops grow. Similarly, civilization was established by Enlil, but it is Enki who causes it to be fruitful through music, literature, and the arts. His wisdom also makes him the god of magic and diviners. Enki is the connection between the human and the divine, and one of the great gifts that he passed to humanity is that of ritual knowledge. Due to his connection to water, he is also connected with ritual purity and cleansing, and his name would often be invoked by Sumerian magicians and sages to warn against demons and other sources of evil. Enki is not a trickster god, although some modern academic portrayals show him this way. He is sharp, mischievous, and witty, but he does not play malevolent pranks on people. Just like the other gods, he wishes to uphold the good order of the structure that they created. He is compassionate and altruistic and will offer aid to all those who come to him with sincere hearts. He further encourages resourcefulness and quick thinking and desires that humans make the most of our, individual and collective, creative gifts. In modern society, we don't often think to be thankful for the gifts that make civilization possible. These gifts may be as abstract as ideas, creativity, and ingenuity. The Sumerians did, because they recognized these as the blessings of Enki. His compassion is illustrated in the tale Enki and Ninmah, in which Enki finds a purpose in society for all the disabled humans who were created by the earth goddess Ninmah, aka Ninhursag. However, Ninmah could not find a purpose for a creation devoid of Enki's essence. The intended message of the story is that all humans have a role to play in a just society, and a society that thus excludes people can hardly be said to be just. But it is also meant to illustrate the necessity of Enki's civilizing gifts in order to establish human well-being. The final lines of the story, often omitted, tell of how Enki comforted Ninmah and found a purpose for his own creation in building the home of the gods. In addition to Ninhursag, Enki also had a second wife, Damkina, who lived with him in the home he made in the deep. Damkina is not generally mentioned in the myths directly, but she is noteworthy as the mother of Marduk. Ninhursag is the all-mother of the Sumerian pantheon, and the one who is the divine ancestor of all other gods, as well as all life in the universe. In the Sumerian creation story, Ki and An are both spawned from the primordial sea, Nammu, identified with the Babylonian Tiamat. From their union, the entire cosmos is ultimately formed. Due to this, she is seen as the spiritual mother of all humankind. As a mother goddess, she is viewed as the patron deity of pregnancy, protecting children while they are still in the womb, and guiding and nourishing them after they are born. She also protects and nurtures those who are pregnant. It is unfortunate that over time, the stories of the Sumerians were altered and distanced from the original meaning. The Ur-3 period, from which we get many surviving tablets written in Sumerian, is distanced from the Neo-Assyrian period, a source of many of our Akkadian texts, by 1,500 years, enough time for the original Sumerian tales to be altered significantly. Over time, the newer text diminished the role of Ninhursag as the Earth Mother, but the Sumerians saw her as a co-equal counterpart to divine Father An. They worshipped her as a goddess of the feminine spirit. She was not seen as a savage goddess of the wilderness, for part of her role was to uphold the divine order, just like the rest of the pantheon. She is nevertheless depicted as a goddess of nature, and in her mother goddess aspect can be found anywhere life may exist. After An passed his responsibilities over to Enki, Ninhursag is often portrayed as the consort of Enki, and their union reflects a cosmic balance of the energies of the heavens and the earth, the masculine and the feminine, in balance with one another. She and Enki create the human race together, with Ninhursag bestowing upon them life, and Enki, in his wisdom, bestowing the gifts with which to craft civilization. Nanna, the moon god, is the son of Enlil and Ninlil. The moon was key to the Sumerian understanding of time. The first calendar invented by the Sumerians was designed around the phases of the moon, and Nanna was also revered as the god of time, the god who grants the wisdom to look upon the past and learn from it. His marking the passage of time is one of the things that contributes to the divine order of the universe. Nanna was called Sin in Akkadian, but this had absolutely nothing to do with the modern conception of sin as a transgression against a god or gods. In Sumerian, he was also called Nannar, Suin, and Nanna Suin. This reflected being a god of many phases of the moon. Nanna also had an association with light, deriving from his aspect as the moon, in which his role is to bring light into the darkness. He is seen to shine wisdom upon us when we need it most, and is therefore also god of scholarship and research. He is said to illuminate the path for those who go in search of the mysteries of life. He has an association with cattle, and one of his aspects is that of a cowherd. The horned shape of the crescent moon reflects that of a bull's horns, and one tablet refers by analogy to the stars as his sparkling-eyed cows, wandering the night sky. Because the length of the lunar month, 29.5 days, approximates the length of the menstrual cycle, menstruation was also a domain of Nanna. The phases of the moon brought forth different aspects of Nanna. The full moon was celebrated on the 15th day of the lunar month, a day that was seen as sacred to Nanna. The time around the new moon is when Nanna descends to the underworld to judge the fate of the dead, although his judgment was a benevolent one. He is spoken of as shining his light into the depths of the underworld. His consort is Ningal, Great Lady, the goddess of the reeds. She is an ancient goddess who was worshipped prominently in times when reeds were a common building material. Their children included Utu and Inanna. Nanna's seduction and courtship of Ningal are spoken of at great length on ancient tablets and illustrates another of Nanna's domains, that of love, courtship, and romance. Utu stands for the light of the sun that allows life to exist on Earth, the radiant warmth of the daytime, and by association it is by his decree that the land may bring forth plants and crops in abundance. His warmth nourishes humans and animals alike, as well as the Earth itself. When Enki was distributing the divine powers amongst the gods, he assigned Utu as the herald who proclaimed An's decisions. Filling the entire sky with light, Utu is the all-seeing one, for his light illuminates the darkest of places, exposing falsehoods and deceit. Utu is the god of truth and justice, and he sees to it that contracts are fulfilled and obligations upheld. Sumerians would make contracts in the name of Utu. Utu governs agreements in all strata of society, from business arrangements to treaties between nations. Because his light shone through everything, Utu could not be deceived. Because his light represents truth and justice, he is the lawgiver in the Sumerian pantheon, the one who passed to mankind the laws that enable a just society to function smoothly. The law code of the Sumerian king Ur-Nammu was issued in the just name of Utu. Utu decreed equity in the land of Sumer, and the kings thus strove to appear as paragons of justice and order, but also of fairness. To allow inequality in the land would incur the wrath of Utu. Another of his domains was divination. While crafty Enki gave magic to humans, divination was Utu's gift, for he could reveal the truth even about the future. The sages of ancient Sumer would appeal to him to provide a correct answer when they performed a reading. Utu will also take a direct role in human affairs, intervening to make sure that fairness is applied. He also took part in the affairs of the underworld. When the sun set in the west, he would descend into the underworld where he decrees the fates of the dead, judges their disputes and illuminates their realm, just as Nanna does when it's daylight in the world of the living. Inanna, known to the Babylonians as Ishtar, has encroached the most of any of the Sumerian deities onto the edge of the public consciousness. She is venerated in some modern Dianic Wiccan circles as a manifestation of the Mother Goddess, or the Divine Feminine. This is a misrepresentation. The representative of the Divine Feminine in the Sumerian pantheon is Ninhursag, or Ki. Perhaps the most important aspect of Inanna's personality is her ambition, combined with her youthful veracity. Inanna is a complex and multifaceted deity. Some of this is because she has so many aspects that she, in part, conquered or won from other deities. A prayer of exaltation to her addresses her with the epithet Lady of a Myriad Me. As such, understanding Inanna requires a careful examination of her aspects. Inanna is noted for her passion. She is a goddess of love, but the love that she embodies is not of a romantic sort, which is the realm of Nanna. The love that Inanna portrays is a fiery, passionate, and unapologetically sexual one, for Inanna stands for sexuality and sexual liberation in all its forms. She is a protector of sex workers and of anyone marginalized by society because of their sexuality. The other key aspect of Inanna is of her as a young warrior. Her passion extends to the heart of battle, for she fights just as fiercely as she loves. Her anger is frightful to behold, and she sweeps all before her in battle, as attested by numerous lengthy praise hymns. She is spoken of as conquering the Inanna temple from On, and in a different composition, sieges and destroys Mount Eba, even against On's wishes. Sumerians would pray to her for success in battle. She is famously hot-headed and ambitious, winning victories for herself and her worshippers. She is able to destroy that which cannot be destroyed, create that which cannot be created, according to the story of Enki and the world order. She is described as intimately involved with the lives of her worshippers, bestowing blessings on them in life and even in the afterlife. Her feminine aspect is her passion and lust. Her masculine aspect is that of a conquering warrior. She embodies the divine androgyny that ties both the syncretic aspects as Venus, the masculine morning star, and the feminine evening star. Like Venus in the sky, Inanna traveled to and returned from the underworld. The story of Inanna's descent is one of the best-known tales of Sumerian mythology, telling of how Inanna sought to conquer the divine powers of the underworld from her sister Ur-Nammu. She is trapped in the underworld, but Enki creates two androgynous beings to retrieve the water of life from Ur-Nammu and rescue Inanna. Her primary consort was Dumuzid, the ancient shepherd god. In the Sumerian version of Inanna's descent, Inanna allows Dumuzid to be taken to the underworld in her steed because he failed to mourn her or even attempt her rescue. Later, she relents and decrees that Dumuzid will spend half the year with her and the other half in the underworld. Sumerians understood the cycle of rebirth of Dumuzid to bring about the changing of the seasons.
The Archive hopes you enjoyed this cursory review of the 7 gods who decree fate. We recommend checking out the related reference videos listed in the description. The Archive has spent a great deal of time providing presentations on various Anunnaki deities, and we hope you take advantage of them. On behalf of the Archive, I want to convey our sincere gratitude for your viewership and support. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be alerted about new presentations. And until next time, remember, all great truths begin as blasphemies.